Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Brian, and today I'm talking Summer House Season 8. This is the reunion part 2. All right, so we pick really right back into the conversation that we were having where Wes is kind of apologizing or starting to apologize to Sierra. Andy kind of courses this out of him, and he says that he's genuine and like his thoughts were genuine during the moment. He just wishes he expressed his feelings sooner. Sierra really has nothing to say. I don't really blame her. I just my only wish for Sierra, only wish for her is I don't want her to go back or like if you too many times now where you've been with the losers, just take a break, get your to get don't even just don't talk to them, just figure out yourself and don't go back to it. Don't go back to it because I what I did not like is I felt like Andy and some of the other cast members were trying to like push like a redemption second chance arc for that relationship, and I don't want her to do that. I think you need to stand strong. I don't. What's he going to change after? I need to. We need to see him through a couple more seasons if he's really going to show some, I guess, like change or remorse. So I would not go back to him anytime soon, if at all. But that's just my opinion. Sorry, I got to turn this TV off because Watch What Happens Live is on. So another thing I want to say about this reunion, not that I didn't care about these things. Like the apology's great. We're gonna talk about Kyle and Amanda briefly. I don't really give a shit about that. I want to hear about Lindsay and Carl's messy relationship. That's what I want to hear about. That's why we're here. We don't care. Like cut the mullet off. Great. I'm glad they did it right at the end, which I was hoping and expecting them to do, and they did it. So we didn't waste any time there. But Kyle and Amanda, we have their conversation about how what they went through this season. They Amanda basically she spoke a lot during this. She said they had a hard year. She said she had some like depression stints, and she kind of also like gave like Kyle like a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think that she should because he does say like really shitty things about her, and I think he does need to be held accountable for these things because when he gets drunk, he's just a jerk. And this is all on TV. All this on TV, and I know everyone on the cast is like, oh, they're like model relationship. They really love each other, and that's great. But when you have kids, they could technically go back and watch this, and you can see how much of an ass that Kyle's can be to their mom. And it's just, I think he needs to like lay off the drinking a little bit, and like their deep conversations need to stop happening when he's drunk and cut out the 3 a.m. come homes and stuff like that. Like it shouldn't be all the time. And I don't know. I know they had like a thing where they had to do like a release about like, yeah, we're together. They like the man didn't go to one of the weddings or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I think Kyle needs to be hit a little bit harder, like more than a slap on the wrist that he gets sometimes. But yeah, we knew this was how it's going to go. We've watched this show so many seasons, the reunion, like there's not that much accountability held for them there. We do have a little bit of positive moment about Jesse and his cancer journey and his story, and that was nice to hear. Um, I wonder if I know that he like a Reddit post or something that he was doing all right based on the. I think he said it also in the reunion, but I'm sure as long as he's on the show, that's going to be a storyline for him. All right, Lindsay and Carl stuff. So as I always say, right before I talk about these people, I don't like either of these people. I do not like Lindsay and I do not like Carl. I think they both are very terrible people. Um, and I will say I'm a little hesitant about how I'm going to be, what I'm going to say, or how people are going to react to like what I'm going to say based off of like I always do on these shows. Is I live on the hashtag during the show because I just want to kind of get a gauge of what people are saying. And looks like a lot of people still are pro Lindsay, and I'm pro Lindsay on a few points, but I do not love the way that she talks about certain things. And I almost feel like everything that she says is rehearsed. And I know that she did like she wasn't a PR firm, and that's kind of where obviously she did that job. Like, I don't know. I just the way she explains things, I don't love. And I got no skin in the game for either of these people. Like it, I don't like them. I don't like them. And I need to just keep saying that because I know some people, when they hear people talking, they just hear 30 seconds and they're like, oh, well, he likes Carl. I don't like Carl. Don't like Carl at all. Big time loser. But there's just a few things that, and she did get ganged up on a lot tonight. I will say Andy was not holding back on some of the questions. And did it seem mean? Not mean, but like, was it unfair at times? Probably. But just some of the questions where there was a fan question. It's like, hey, Lindsay, what is actually exactly is your job? And she said, my main job is this show, which is the same as Carl. Apparently, I get paid the same. That's what I think Andy said. And she does influencer jobs. And apparently, Carl does this too. But we've all seen Carl influencer jobs. He's not good at it. He looks like a mannequin, like a creep. Like that goldfish ad is sad. And Paige said something about like how much I was like how much money is he actually making less than you, and that was, I mean, that was kind of crazy to say, like throwing out numbers on TV about like how much money they make. You definitely don't want to do that, but it. I don't know. I have a really hard time feeling bad for either of them, and mainly her because the job comments say I was pro him getting the job. He still needs to get a job. I think a lot of these people need to have a real job, like being an influencer. She said like what's gonna happen. She said something that she's like, what's gonna happen when the show's over for Carl's job? And we could say the same thing about Lindsay because she could be a better influencer, but that's not gonna last forever. Like I think if the show's not on for 10 years, are people really gonna care about what you have to say or what you're influencing? So I think her being on the show definitely keeps that influencer job probably running. Could she last longer of a career as an influencer if the show's not on than Carl? Definitely, because Carl's terrible at that job, as we all seen. Um, but I just found that just the arguing points. I just think she was backed into a corner there. I don't know what. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Uh, I just think that she just and just some of the things that she says when she doesn't apologize, and Kyle was coming at her pretty hard, and she thinks that she's delusional. She says she needs to say sorry, and like there's a couple times where she was saying, but she says does say but a lot after an apology. I man, I don't know. Kyle, he's got a lot to say about other people's relationships other that are besides his, and he's wrong in his a lot. But I mean, I didn't disagree with some of the things he was saying tonight. I really didn't. And I also have a note here. I felt like Gabby apologized more for Lindsay than Lindsay did for herself. And I don't know. You gotta have friends like Gabby's a good friend to Lindsay, and Paige is a good friend to Sierra. And I mean, I guess you can say the same thing about Carl to Lindsay or Kyle to Carl, but I know people won't like that. Um, Carl is opening up or is looking to open up his cafe bar that's non-alcoholic. Um, I don't know. I mean, I do drink, but I drink very socially, not like that much, especially now that once I had kids, I don't obviously have the chance to drink as much as I used to. But I don't know how this is going to be sustained. I don't. I don't know. I mean, I guess good for him. I mean, trial and error, but um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Somebody brought up like, hey, did you ever apologize to Carl about coking Carl? Lindsay says that she did. Didn't really seem like a good apology to me. And a lot of the cast members said like they felt like you were trying to weaponize sobriety. I could see that. I feel like a lot of the times we're watching two different shows when we watch these situations. Like I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say that about even if I was mad at somebody, my technically my friend or whatever. I wouldn't say shit like that. I don't know. Uh, but I think other than that, I just don't really want to dive too deep into that because I don't want to make it look like I'm pro Carl because I'm not. I'm not. And I just I keep wanting to stress that because not that I'm afraid of the comments, but I don't want to be interpreted that I'm defending him because he is big time loser. And I think they're best for them. They're not together. I think that's the only thing that we should all come out to it is like they're messy as hell. They've been messy. They've been messy for 8 seasons. We've seen Lindsay for 8 seasons. We know who she is. Like we've seen Carl for 8 seasons. We know exactly who he is. Why they ever thought that relationship worked is beyond me. And I think a lot of us as fans of the show could have seen that and knew that. So I don't know. Lindsay does say that she's with somebody. And this I actually saw a couple comments on this, and I'm gonna echo this because I think it's kind of crazy. They apparently were together in their past, or they went on dates, but at the time it didn't work out. And then she's in a serious relationship right after an engagement is broken off, and the guy that wasn't a good time then now is back in life. It just is, I don't know. It just makes me shake my head, honestly. It really does. Good luck to her. Hopefully it works. He says he doesn't watch the show. I think that's a safe bet because if these, I think a lot of people, I mean, especially with Tom Sandoval, if you watch the show and you like, why would you want to date these people? They're messy as hell, super, super messy. But appreciate everyone watching for the season. I really like the show. I thought this was actually a pretty good season. I know that the Lindsay and Carl stuff is tiresome and it is very drawn out, and we've been dealing with it a lot. But man, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did Vanderpump Rules. I will say I enjoyed it a lot more than Vanderpump Rules this season. But yeah, I will definitely be back. Hopefully, I think they would have another season, but I will be back for it. I think Bill by then, maybe, hopefully, he can be a part of this. But I know he didn't really keep up with the season. But yeah, I love it, and I will be back for it. And if you guys have any other shows to check out, um, any my only no goes is I'm not watching Housewives. I'm not doing it. That's my probably my only hard no for that show. I can't get behind, can't relate to any of them, so I just can't do it. We tried watching the reboot of the New York, and I just it wasn't for me. I couldn't do it. But any other show suggestions, definitely let us know. Drop it in the comment section, and I will definitely check it out. I always give any show a chance. It's not Housewives. But I will talk to you guys in the next video. I think the next one will probably be Perfect Match. Perfect Match, second week of season 2. The episodes drop tomorrow, and we will be back for that. And I also will be doing, I know this is completely different than Bravo shows, but Alone on the History Channel. Great show. If you haven't seen it, I suggest checking it out. It's about 10 to 9 to 11 people have to live out in the wilderness by themselves, and the last person standing wins $1 million. So definitely check it out. I think it's a great show. I think it's on Netflix Discovery, but it is on the History Channel. But I think if you want to watch on the History Channel, all the episodes are free on historychannel.com. So check it out. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. See you.